time for our final performer of the evening, which will be Lily Redwood. Lily is a spoken word artist and slam champ whose debut pamphlet, You Make Me Think of Swifts, is a raw, witty and unflinching journey through the landscape of early motherhood. It has been described as scorchingly honest and human by Jude Jones, a journalist, and visceral, loving and brave by Amelia Hall, founder of Mothership Writers. And that collection is now out with the Collective Press. Please make some noise for Lily Redwood.
I've been drawn into about 1 million different worlds now, and I'm just like, right, where am I? Okay, I'm here. Yeah, so I just wanted to, first of all, just say how grateful I am for the invitation to be here, how grateful I am to be able to stand here as a woman, to use my voice, to be free from oppression and violence, and to be safe when so many people across the world are not experiencing that right now. So I just want to be like, I feel really privileged to be in this position, and thank you. So a lot of the stuff that I am writing at the moment, and my work is around the story of motherhood, perinatal mental health. It is perinatal mental health week, maternal mental health week. So that is a really important thing for me. So I am going to read to you from my collection, which is all about my experiences in early motherhood. When I had my daughter in 2013, I experienced a condition called eclampsia, which is a potentially fatal condition. I ended up in a coma in the ICU for 3 days, and it happened postnatally, and I experienced PTSD, and I had EMDR for that PTSD. It wasn't until 4 years later that I realised, actually, yeah, I really need to get some help for this. So a little bit of context for you. No reverential washing of the feet as people sang me home and held me close. No ceremonial fire to thaw my weary bones. No. There was nothing like that. Descend. There was the sunlight and the baby and us in the living room, bright with birth and beginnings. There was the feeling I was disappearing. Blue orbs tumbling towards eyes rolled back, body tonic, clonic, and him suspended between two features. There were the neighbours and the paramedics and the blue lights and the bumpy track and the siren, and him in the back with the baby. There was me on a gurney, 36,000 feet deep, 6.9 miles of water overhead in the Haydel Trench, where unimaginable creatures dwelt. There was the darkness and the absence and the void. There were my cradle arms empty, and the doctors who tapped at my kneecaps to see if anyone was home. There were hurried feet along corridors and locked doors, and the grandparents peering in through wire grid glass, thinking the unthinkable. There were concerned whispers, wet eyes, and white knuckles of hands holding onto curled fingers in a tangle of tubes. There were rows of unusually still toes making sails out of sheets and beads and busy backs between blue curtain cracks and the rasping seashell inhale of the deep sea diver's breath in the veil next to me. And the tick, tick, tick of the mocking clock in a world where day and night merged in timeless half-light. Fishmouth. There was the baby, 24 hours new, and the friend with full, milky breasts quietly arriving with salt-stream cheeks and dripping nipples, and my baby in her arms. There was him, on the awkward single bed, waking up surprised to find a small creature curled upon his chest, making fishmouth movements, and the little cup of expressed milk with the syringe on the bedside unit. Earthside. There was the place upstairs where each room housed an everyday miracle, pink and blue teddy bears and Huck's fresh baby grows dangling off tiny still-furled toes, skin on soft skin, gentle smiles and tea and toast and the kiss of morning. Empty. 5 floors down. There was the feeling of being alone. My stone skeleton neck, a calcified coral branch, stiff against bleached cotton, caught up in plastic lines and the bag of golden piss hooked by my side. There was the feeling of being touched by blue gloves in my own absence, and the abyss between then and now, and my cradled arms still empty. Jellyfish. There was the shower. Looking down at my feet and watching the water drip from the black scoureweed of my pubis, and the dark kelp line crawling up my withered abdomen, deflated and soft like warm blubber, or a jellyfish, or a sea slug, and the blood in the plug, and the blue fracture cracked veins across the striated bedrock of my breasts. Resurfacing. There was the baby, back in my cradle arms, and the rainbow over Brighton Beach through the 12th floor window. And still the feeling of being alone. Sure. I clambered, sea-beaten and staggering across the stony shore of early motherhood. There was no archway of arms to welcome me back from the underworld, no reverential washing of the feet as people sang me home and held me close, no ceremonial fire to thaw my weary bones. No, there was nothing like that. So you learn to sleep and fly with one eye open and sometimes both eyes completely shut for just a few seconds. And sometimes you fall. You fall. The scientists say it's a miracle that you can survive on so little sleep, but when you're navigating two hemispheres and there's no escape because the destination is set and you're already in the air and there's no going back because what's behind you seems too cold and something in you says keep going, and you know that your clenched feet won't touch the ground now for at least another 7 months, and if you push for anything more than just a few seconds rest, then who would catch you? Who would catch you? So you make the most of what you can get, and besides, you found that this one eye open, one eye closed thing is really quite an efficient use of time, and you can get more done just as long as you don't stop, because if you did, you'd feel quite lost. Quite lost. The scientists say it's a mystery that you are able to function, but still you fly. You fly so high that you are almost invisible. I can see you. I can see you. And it's incredible. It's truly fucking incredible how many miles you travel sleeping on the wing. One of the main causes of perinatal death is suicide. This wasn't designed as a poem about suicide, but once I'd finished it, he said, sometimes you write a poem and it takes you, you don't know where it's going to go. So it is metaphorical, though. Falling or flying. It wasn't clear whether she jumped or if she was pushed or whether she simply lost her footing. There should have been a railing or a wall or some troughs full of flowers to make sure that this kind of thing didn't happen. But the edge was so raw, so sharp, so unexpected, so final. At first, no one noticed. She was like a bird soaring above the busy street below, silent. She could have almost gone unseen. If she hadn't bumped into the window cleaner on the way down, the thud of her body forcing the air out of her mouth in a guttural grunt that unbalanced his bosun's chair. She felt terrible for the upset she might have caused him, but it was too late to apologise. She thought about all the things she still had to do, about her daughter's dentist appointment and the fact her youngest needed new shoes, the birthday card for Auntie Sue with the book of stamps on the sideboard, and last night's dinner that was still in the pot on the hob. She should have left a note or a list. At least it was quick, they said. But they didn't know that time slows down when you're falling. There was nobody there to catch her, but onlookers were impressed by the fact that she was still holding on to her shopping bags. Somebody said they saw her face as she passed the 7th floor. It looked like she was smiling. try something new now. It's in here. I'm writing a new collection at the moment. It's a poetical memoir. My mum died of pancreatic cancer in 2023, and I nursed her through end of life, and I was also I nursed her through end of life. That's enough information. Let's get to the poems. This is about when I wove her coffin. Your coffin. I lie down in the willow, sweet and woody, creaking hull cradle. Aching edges nudge at the smooth pebbles of my shoulders. Snug. I close my eyes. There's a photo of you as a young woman in a bikini, and you're squinting towards the sun, and your shape against the glistening sea could be me. After your appointment with the oncologist, we dropped your tan teddy coat off at the dry cleaners in preparation for summer storage. Now the leaves are the same colour as your teddy coat, and your body is dust in a box, and the closest I can get to holding you is this coat, fresh from the cleaners, and I can't stop thinking that I wish it was still soft with the smell of your last winter. More than sleeping. The pressure is enough to split the skin. It wears thin at the points of contact. The weight of a head without the strength to hold itself can result in open sores. Parts of the self become exposed and raw, and you will be surprised by how heavy a body is without life to hold it up. Mother mourning. In one hand, the unfathomable magnitude of being, and in the other, a half-eaten banana. And each day, one step, maybe two, along a high wire stretched between gratitude and despair. Cloak. In the empty, bone-cold night, beneath the brittle opal sky, upon the silent, creaking snow, bereft of heat or light. Finally, you speak. Wear me like a blanket. Wrap this darkness around your shoulders. It is the warmth that you seek. And this is my last one. And isn't it beautiful to see the leaves lose their verdant green? And doesn't it feel holy to watch death gild them in gold? And doesn't the oak exhale with relief to feel weightless each winter? And isn't the brittleness of each branch balanced by the downward